please. 3, 2. Welcome to the February meeting of the Commission on Aging. Thanks for everybody coming. Our first order of agenda is we have a new member. Please say hi.
Hi, Carla Thompson.
Awesome. Coming from the Republican Town Committee?
Yes.
Correct, thank you. And I think I have a thank you to my friend over here for helping us run that through. You are replacing one of our favorite people of all time, Ron Heinboss. So some big shoes to fill, but we're thrilled to have you.
Thank you.
I understand that you also are one of the people who visit the Mather Center on a frequent basis.
Yes, I do every week.
Awesome. So I would love to, for Beth and for the Mather Center folks, it's nice to have another representative, because Ron, of course, spent a lot of time there too. So that's awesome. So fair enough. So thanks so much for
Thank
coming.
you.
Welcome. Great. First order on our agenda is the minutes from the January meeting. Anybody have any corrections or changes? Hearing none, can I have a motion to approve the minutes? Thank you. Second? Thank you very much. All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Thank
One
you.
abstention.
One abstention, fair enough, and one abstention. Sounds good. And then we'll go on to our Mather report. Beth?
Okay, we have a busy March coming up. We've been blessed with the weather, so the February has been extremely busy too. I just wanted to make note that the visiting nurse in hospice that does the complimentary lunch and presentation every month is usually a health professional that comes in to do that, but also Stanford Hospital, a doctor comes in every single month, not tied to a complimentary lunch, but yesterday their doctor came in that was a neurosurgeon, gave an incredible presentation on stroke prevention. So when you see these, Channel 79, when you see these presentations, these are doctors that are coming in that are giving really extensive, wonderful presentations, but at the level that everyone can understand. This particular doctor, Ray was there, right? They wouldn't let him go. They were surrounding him, so he's gonna be coming in with another topic. But I just want you to know the quality of the doctor and the healthcare professionals that both Visiting Nurse and Hospice send us and Stanford Hospital is incredible. And to take advantage of them, even if it's something that you're not too concerned about. A couple people who left just said they weren't concerned about stroke. And now they're knowing that some of the good health practices that they use are great, and that there's other things to be added to that as well, especially exercise. And we have 14 exercise classes, so that
What was his name?
Dr. Miller.
No.
And he was a young man, again, I'm getting older, so he looked to be about 15. Right? And I thought maybe that was one of the reasons why people were surrounding him, because he was actually made a nice presentation all the way around. He had it all going on.
Sounds like it was made for TV.
Yes.
Marcus Welby is it?
And you don't usually get neurosurgeons that have that kind of a personality, but and they do try, Stanford Hospital especially tries very hard to pair us up with physicians that have that bedside manner or that ability to reach out and to make things more easy to be digested.
And he said the interchange from the audience to himself was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And
That's great.
he said the questions you were asked, it was like, he said, I feel like I'm back in med school.
That'd be great for him too, because he's getting an effective laboratory, right, at
Yes.
some level,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
You know, to get the
Yeah.
feedback as to
No,
from seniors.
that was his point. He
Yeah.
it started him thinking about some things he hadn't thought about before.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Hope he comes back. That sounds like a
He
great
wants to
idea.
come back, and he has a couple other topics. And this is how even Ray got captured, because Ray worked the desk yesterday, so he was in the midst of the fray of all these people that were have him back. But what was the last thing he said? He was going to call his mother to tell him all the compliments that it was worth her spending him to med school. Right?
That's right. Thanks for paying for med school, Mom. It was great.
So yeah, he said, so now I have proof. He said, if she calls you, will you tell her I was good? And I said, yeah. So anyway, I just want people to know that it's just a wealth. We are so very, very fortunate to have these people coming into the center every month. Also on March 10th is coming up our St. Patrick's Day celebration. We can't have it on St. Patrick's Day proper because we can't get the entertainment. So, but we have a fabulous guy coming. He does it all from dancing, singing, and joke telling. He tells wonderful Irish stories. So he's coming back, and Judy's doing a corned beef luncheon. We have the coffee one. We have coffee with the cop in March. The officer K9 Argo is coming, who is a favorite of everybody's. It'll be in the lobby instead of in our cafe, but he usually gets a big crowd to come and see him. Connecticut Pharmacy also is by appointment going to do a brown bag medication review. So it's a pharmacist that comes directly from Connecticut Pharmacy Group. Her name is Deborah Cobra. She's going to come in and you bring all your supplements, your medications, and she'll talk to you about interaction and whether it's too old or maybe you should ask the doctor about something else, because pharmacists are a wealth of information that way too. We also have a movement and meditation course that we're going to try for the first time in March, and if people like it, it will become a regular part of our schedule. So there's a sign up for that. The gal is a yogi who's going to do it for us, and there was one other thing I wanted to tell you about. ARP, we have our driver's course next month too. It's only half filled up so far, so if anybody's due for that, March 16th is the date, and there's about, I think, 8 spaces left. And lastly, the Darien High School Core Group is coming in on Friday, March 20th. We do an intergenerational brain teasers and twisters program with them. It's a lot of fun for everybody, a lot of fun. The kids can't wait to come, and it's fun for us as well. So that's March.
Awesome. Questions for Beth? I just have one, and it's an ancient one, but still one I want to make sure we're cool on. Elevator.
It is,
Going up
knock
and
on
down.
wood, going up and down.
Brilliant.
And it is getting regular review.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So
So
that issue we can take off our table for a while, until you tell us otherwise.
Yes, I think so.
Good, that's wonderful to
We
hear.
don't want to jinx it.
Oh, yeah,
I
exactly.
wish I had some holy water.
Any other questions for Beth? Nope, great. Ally, tell us about what's going on with social services.
Okay, the assessor's office has begun their tax credit program, so any seniors over the age of 65, who their income limits have to be 54,000 for a married couple and 46,000 for a single person. And they have until May 15th to apply. To call the assessor's office, and I have it on my report. We're working on another case with Protective Services for the elderly, complicated case, and there's actually a probate hearing today for conservatorship. So we shall see. Human Services, along with Jennifer and Ray, we've started our, I don't know what the formal title is yet, but a task force for residents with disabilities. And Emergency Management and the Police Department and Human Services have begun forming a registry for people. So similar to the senior list that we have for emergencies, it's in the very beginning stages, but we're excited about this. So we're actually meeting with the schools next week with some of the parents, so we can try to work together to make this happen. We've had positive feedback so far. Let's see, energy assistance application deadline is quickly approaching. So people with oil heated homes, Monday, March 2nd is the last day to apply with us. And March 15th is the last delivery of oil. And then Friday, April 17th is the last day that people who heat with utilities can apply. I didn't put in my report because we thought Joe was coming, but I have what I've heard is an update in terms of senior housing, which we're all eager to hear about. They said that tentatively they think March 16th is when the applications are going to be available. That's tentative. They will, as we know, they have to by law notify the public via media and papers and whatnot. And then they're hoping sometime mid-April, I believe, to actually do the lottery. My biggest question was the residents who were already on the wait list, the existing wait list, which I believe they thought they had 26 people, but they February 7th they mailed out letters to those people inquiring if they're still interested, and they're supposed to hear back from them by Friday. So it's been quite a few years since that list has been closed, so we don't know if the people are still going to be interested, eligible, appropriate, and whatnot. I'm concerned because I feel that the people on the wait list should have, I'm concerned that they have a fair process. Mm-hmm. Right now they're saying that they think they will give them 2 lottery, applications or whatever you want to call it to submit as opposed to one for all the new people applying. I don't think that's fair because they've been on this list under different pretenses where literally they go through it for a long time, where they go through it, and the way it used to work is if something's available, you're top of the list, they call you, right? So there's a meeting next Tuesday. I did express my concern, and someone from Imagineers, her name is Fong, I forget her last name, one of the managers from Hartford came down, I met with her, and there's a new property manager at the Heights who's also gonna be the royal manager, her name is Crystal.
Yeah, she's
And
good.
she was lovely.
She's good.
And Myrna, who's been there for a long time. So we all met briefly, I did express my concern, and there's a meeting, anyone who's interested, this coming Tuesday the 25th, I believe it's at 6:30, the Housing Authority meeting that I'm gonna go to, and hopefully, they said that nothing's set in stone, so they heard my concern and will continue to discuss it, so.
It seems like they should be outside of the lottery.
Right, that's what I feel, like you should go through the list, if there's availability,
Right.
they should be offered it. That's the way it used to be when they were put on the list.
I think we were under the understanding that they were automatically going to have a place, and then the rest of the people would be in the lottery.
Well, the people returning,
Right.
those
Yeah,
residents
people-
are guaranteed, there's
Right.
16 of them, and there's
Yeah.
39 available spots then. But then, in addition to that, this is the existing waiting list. So yeah, we kind of thought that they'd go through the waiting list first, right? That was our impression. So, to be continued.
Okay.
So that's not in my report, but, because I figured Joe was gonna answer a lot of those
Yeah,
questions.
and so what Ally's referring to, for those on TV 79, is Joe Warren was supposed to be
Oh,
here today
sorry.
to discuss North, but he couldn't make it, so we're gonna have Joe come back at another meeting, just so everybody is aware of watching this fine. Joe's there, well,
Yeah,
Joe
right,
Pankowski's
right.
here,
Oops.
but not Joe Warren.
Sorry.
Okay, so
Last
no
names.
worries, that's fine, we're cool. So,
Um,
you know, anybody can make that meeting on that Tuesday, that's great.
Yeah.
You know, and thanks for Ally for doing that.
Well, I feel pretty passionate about it, so I hope that we can accomplish something here. Anyway, so, and then just a reminder, we actually put it out in the media last week, I believe, that we do have our senior emergency list, and knock on wood, we haven't had to call many people this winter.
Yeah.
This is wood. But it is available, and usually this is the time of year when people ask to be put on it, so we're happy to have anyone who's interested.
We always get one big one in March, so.
Okay.
That
Around
we're
the
not out of the
corner.
woods yet.
No.
Yeah.
That's all.
Great, thank you. Any questions for Alan? Hearing none, thanks so much. And Gina, what's going on over at your place?
We are good. Everything is good at home in Darien. The only thing I wanted to share with you today is I wanted to tell you about this collaborative thing we do with a lot of organizations in town. But with the high school, what we try to do is take advantage of the productions that they do for the general public. And they've been very kind to let seniors come to the dress rehearsal nights. So coming up in March, and they need to confirm the dress rehearsal night date, we will have the opportunity for seniors to go to Godspell, the musical, and we will give transportation if people are interested, but it's really nice to go on a night where there's no crowds, and seniors get great seating, and they run through the production as if it's a regular night, but I will confirm the date, but people who are interested can contact us, and we'd love to get a great crowd for this.
Great
show.
idea. It's a
Yeah.
great play. Good stuff. Perfect. Thank you.
Sure.
Peter, anything going on the state level? We know the session's going on.
Oh, yeah. I do have a few things. Tax aid is continuing, it's up and running. Again, the library's extended its program to Mondays, so it's Mondays, Fridays, and Saturdays, and it's Wednesday here, Beth, at this Mather Center. And we've had more than 300 filings already. On Saturday, we had 63 filings, so it's going to be a busy year. Again, you can walk in or you can make reservations at the Darien Library. Again, I'd encourage folks to visit the Darien Library online. It's darienlibrary.org. They have a lot of programs. They have a whole bunch of programs directed towards women coming up in March. In fact, on February 26th, they're going to show the movie Harriet, the Harriet Tubman movie. So again, encourage you to take a look at the website. The Darien Historical Society is changing its name. It's going to be the Museum of Darien, and they're going to kick it off probably on March the 20th. Our town historian, Ken Reese, has written a new book, I guess, Darien 1820, New Town, New Times. It's It's gonna be a major event, again, part of the whole celebration of our town's 200th anniversary. So again, encourage you to visit the website, and I'm sure there'll be articles in the paper on that. I also wanted to talk about the census. I attended a meeting on the census, and again, they're still looking for workers. They've raised it now to $25 an hour because they really need workers. They have 3 regional centers, the closest of which is in Danbury. Those centers would be places where high-paid positions would be, because $25 is the entry level. But something concerns me. On the national level, they anticipate people 65 years of age or older, that 21% are not expected to respond. And they've broken it down to the state, and they've broken it down to our town, and they expect in Darien 17% of the people 65 years of age or older are not going to respond. And what, as we all know, what's really important, this forms the basis of a lot of charges and assessments and return of funds from the state and from the federal level. So it is really important. But I want to share with you how convoluted the process is going to be and why all of us need to encourage and pay attention. So between March the 12th and March the 20th, everyone in the country will receive an invitation to do the online survey. And most of us will get it by letter, but some will get it by online. On March the 16th to March the 24th, there'll be a reminder letter that will be sent. And if you haven't responded yet, between March the 26th and April the 3rd, you'll get a reminder postcard. And if you still haven't responded, this is the 4th time then, they will then send you a reminder letter and a paper questionnaire. So the first time you will get a paper questionnaire is 4 times into the cycle, because what they're trying to do is, drive all the responses online. Interesting, if you go online and you look at it, you can see the survey. You will not be able to print it out and mail it in, which I thought was rather strange. But again, it's just to force people to do it online. In the transmission of these notes, there will also be a telephone number so that you can complete your survey by telephone. So they will give you an opportunity that if you don't want to do it by paper, if you don't want to do it online, they will give you a telephone number. You will call, and then a census worker will take your information over the telephone. And then a final reminder will be sent out on April 20th, a postcard, and then they will begin the in-person visits. And the in-person visits, I shouldn't be cynical on Channel 79, but the in-person visits will be someone who will have a laptop. Hopefully it'll work better than the Iowa caucus.
Yes.
And will come to your door and will do the survey. They will not be allowed to go into your home.
They better have a good battery on their laptop then.
And they will have identification as well. Okay. So, and the hope is that they won't have to do too many of those.
Okay.
So again, those of us that are involved with some type of outreach for seniors, we should be aware of this. We should be seeing how, and I know the library is doing programs, the Madison is going to be doing it, but we really need to encourage that, because I think the goal should certainly be to lower that 17% that the government expects we won't
That
respond.
seems like a fallacious number, 17.
Well,
Yeah.
we don't know, Ray.
Yeah,
we don't
some
know.
of these surveys are.
Well, you won the question though, let's be clear. If
They
you-
said
if
it
you
would be, excuse me, Joe, it would be much higher in cities like Stanford and Hartford because again, clusters of housing,
that's different.
lack of internet access, again, people not being afraid. So they do expect, but they do expect that to be at this level here, which it sounds,
Well, if you're a senior, 80 or older, right, and you haven't had a lot of access with the internet, so we know the internet's off, right, so that's the first. Then you get all these letters, which quite frankly could appear to be junk mail, okay? Then somebody comes to your door. And at the end of the day, with a laptop,
Right.
okay? 17% sounds low to me, okay, as far as seniors are concerned. I could see it being higher just in terms of the significant, elderly fear for good reason, because they're targets, right? In other words, at the end of the day, all the phone calls, I had 2 yesterday from idiots who saying, one was the IRS allegedly and another one, but they're scam phone calls. And if you're having scam phone calls, coming to an attorney, imagine what you're getting, scam phone calls to these seniors, okay, and then somebody comes to your door. So that's the challenge for the census, is to convince people to be willing to answer the door when somebody they don't know comes with a laptop and answer questions relating to their personal lives and who lives with them and things of that nature. It's going to be a challenge. That's all there is to it.
Those people will have a identification badge. They'll also have a phone number you can call, but they probably will not have a uniform. But again, you're absolutely right. So
It's challenging. That's all
we
there is
don't
to it.
want to be alarmist, but we certainly want to make sure that we get our slice of the pie.
Yeah, no question, no question.
Just to let you know, our area agency, Marie Allen, the executive director, all 14 senior centers have offered our computer space to census workers. So we're waiting, this is like the 3rd time I've put in to the gal that's our contact that let us know when you're coming. So, and I know the libraries are gonna be doing the same thing as
Yeah.
well, to try to, so if people feel comfortable, and you don't want somebody to
Exactly.
come to your door,
Exactly.
if we have, like we said, we could have them there 3 or 4 days a week if they want, it's up to, so Marie did this very carefully, exactly for the reason that she was worried about all the eligibility programs for our state, and our state is wide and varied. And I know that all the other AAAs are doing the same thing across, at least the United States, Connecticut, I'm sure across the United States, because it's the way that people get funding.
Yeah.
And we need these statistics, so.
No question.
I have one more thing. A census worker came to my office. I met with him briefly, and he said that they're having a really hard time getting people to, workers in Darien. So we do have flyers in our office if anyone's interested. We've been giving them out to clients. A few seniors took them too, so anyone who's interested. And apparently the $25, they worked out that you could make potentially up to $5,000 during this period, and it's not considered income, which is good for our people who are on benefits and concerned that if they make too much, then they're going to be kicked off. So I thought that was interesting.
That
I
is
don't know how that's
amazing.
possible.
That is
but-
amazing that they
Yeah.
don't consider it income. That's,
Yeah,
well, that'll
you made
certainly
that very
help the
clear. I
cause.
was like, okay, well, that's a good selling point.
Great tip, Ally, thank you.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Anything else? One tip for seniors and elsewhere, you may have heard Donald Trump has decided that New Yorkers don't qualify for global entry anymore until they clean up their driver's license situation, perhaps other reasons. But that results in a huge benefit for the people of Connecticut right now. And the reason I know that is I went through the global entry program yesterday down in Battery Park, and no one from New York was there, and people were getting to sign up the day before to take all these slots from New York. So the global entry program allows you to skip all the lines and customs and everything else, and you just put your thing, you put your fingerprints on the thing and you skip through. So for those of you who know folks in Darien, including seniors who take these trips and want to skip these big lines, and you're a Connecticut resident, now is the time to apply for that program, because it's much easier to get interviews in New York City than it has been probably ever, because no one in New York City qualifies currently to enter the program. So all these slots are wide open. And so I was talking to people yesterday who got their appointment the day before yesterday because all the New Yorkers lost their slots. So at the end of the day, if people are interested in the global entry program in Connecticut, now is the time to do it. So, great. Other old business. Anything new on the Blight Committee, Jim?
Not really. We have one very active case which has been in the paper.
No,
and-
still going on?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
So, but back to kind of what our role is on that. Ally is working on a really serious case, which is not borderline, it's hoarding, but it's in a very sensitive way, and she has been actively engaged in that. She's been in multiple ones where we've gone in and offered cleanups and all of that, and so I think our role on that commission has been very positive in the sense that we are trying every single case to make sure that the people there are not having problems because of their age status, and also because they just don't know how to fix some of these issues. And they've engaged with family members. Many times, family members aren't even aware that these blight notices have gone out. But, and we've made a lot of progress on the list. We've got a very active list, but we've reduced quite a number of bad properties. I don't need to hear about the one on Leroy Avenue.
Just gonna ask you
Why
that.
why didn't that go, why
I was
doesn't
gonna
Palmer's
ask you
buy
that.
that? Well, you know, there's all kinds of issues. Everybody in
I
town
know.
has a definition of
It
blight.
goes on and on.
Yeah, it does, so, but I just think from the commission's perspective, it was a good idea for us to be represented, and I can't tell you how good a job Ally does. She is
Thank you.
just tremendous, and boy, if we need something done, she gets it done.
Well, that's where the rubber
Yeah.
hits the road, so we
Yeah.
very much, if when Ally's involved in exactly this kind of case, I mean, that's awesome that we can have you taking a role there.
And we try not to be punitive, we're just trying to support the people to get the mission accomplished, hopefully.
And she's actually made physical visits, which is very difficult to do. You think about people not wanting you coming up with a census question. Believe me, they don't want you coming on your property to talk to you about the condition of your property. And as a matter of fact, we cannot go on their property without their permission. So she's been, and the team has been very good at working on that. Our new blight officer, he's been there, 4 months, 5 months now.
Since the summer, yeah.
Bob Solito has done a great job.
Yeah, he's excellent.
He's very good, but
And he's also very compassionate and sensitive with the residents, which
Yeah.
is huge.
and I think the board as a whole is very sensitive to that. We're very reluctant to not pursue everything that the town can do for people, even if it's just bringing a dumpster so they can offload stuff.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's what we hoped would be the case with when they started this, which was it would be effectively a way to assist these folks as opposed to force them to do stuff, right? I mean, that's especially the fact that you can't go onto their property without their permission, and yet if their neighbors are complaining, that makes them all the more challenging. So
Yeah.
kudos to you guys and to Ally, thank you. Other old business. New business. Hearing none, can I have a motion to adjourn? Thank you. Second? Thanks, everybody. Thanks for coming, and we'll see you in March, and hopefully Joe Warren will be able to join us in March or April.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Great. Just